Hi, everybody. This is Frank Daly here with Daily Wisdom, and today's topic of conversation is going to be about your internal guidance system. And for me to explain this, I'm going to utilize the GPS system, which most of us are very aware about. So, in order to get somewhere, and we're going to use the GPS understanding, you need to know the location in which you want to go. Therefore, you place the information in, the address. And the GPS automatically has the location of where you are, and then it takes the routing of it to where you want to get to. So our job is to only ask to where we want to go, and then we have to let go of it in order to get to where we want to go. So the indication on the GPS would show us the red pin of the destination where we want to go, and then the blue line would trace back down to where we are. So in order to do that, we utilize our imagination in order to see where we want to go, in order to start this whole process. So GPS is very functional in everyday life. We understand how it works. So the question is always asked, well, how do I use my own internal guidance system? And it's simple, but there's certain principles I'm going to discuss first. And the first principle is learning to actually be present. And when you're present, your internal guidance system actually is supremely working. And it's never at fault. It's kind of like the way I explain it is as if I was in a room with somebody having a discussion, and I was asking for a list of things they perhaps needed from the grocery store. And in the middle of it, they didn't notice I was walking out of the room. They kept shouting out the information. And as I was walking out of the room, the audible sounds of me got less and less. My hearing isn't the problem. The problem is I left the room, so the frequency of sound was distracted by the walls and etc. So when we actually find ourselves thinking too much, you actually remove yourself from the present state where your GPS, or I'm sorry, internal guidance system works supremely. So in the case of getting to where you want to go in life, a goal, what we want to do is get into a present state, because that's the natural state of all existence, is to be present. Too much thoughts, thinking, take us out of it. Once we let go of that, we naturally fall into it. It's kind of like when you let go of a pendulum, the natural state is to fall down, and as the movement stops, it will hover in this steadfast place. So once we get into that state, and there's a multitude of ways to get in that state, and I'll discuss that at further understanding, but this is just to understand how our internal guidance system works. So once we're there, then we could generate from that place a feeling utilizing our imagination of where we want to be. So if you imagine yourself wanting to be a successful business person, picture yourself as if you already are that. And that will generate a frequency to go to, actually feel it. You're going to use imagery such as how you would dress, what car you would drive, what house you have, what spouse, or whatever it is you want to mix in. The more stuff you put into the picture, the better. But it's just solely to generate the feeling. Once you generate the feeling, drop the picture entirely, because the picture may show up very similar to what you used, but if you hold on to the picture, you're actually looking for the picture and you're diverting from the frequency. So when you stay in the state of how you feel and you're present, you'll have impulses. And when you act on those impulses as best you can, it starts moving you in a direction of this very thing. Just like a GPS, once I put the address in, I have to let go of the address. I don't say, if I want to go to San Diego and here I am living in Phoenix, it might indicate the gestation period of it being 5.5 hours. But if I want to be in San Diego now, it's going to cause a problem. But what I need to do is once I put it in there, it will say calculating, and then it will tell me to head left outside my neighborhood and get onto this road, et cetera, et cetera. But it only can reveal bits of information at a time. If I don't act on those bits of information, I cannot get the next one, because I'm not in the location where I need to get the next one. That's exactly how your internal system works, but it's so much more powerful. Now, the impulses are going to be, say I want to start a business, and I pitch myself a certain way. So now I'm in this feeling. My first impulse might be to call a friend and have coffee. And the logical mind might say, well, how is getting a cup of coffee going to get me to this business venture that I wanted? Again, your thinking, which is taking you away from the present state, all of a sudden your internal system starts to break down because you don't know. Just like if I knew how to get somewhere, I wouldn't have to put in GPS in the first place, now would I? So this is all about moving in a direction where we haven't been, but yet there's a perfect, precise guidance system to get us there. So when I listen to it and, use an example, so I call my friend up, hey, you feel like getting a cup of coffee? And they accept the invitation to go down there, and maybe discussing the business proposition with them, and nearby somebody overhears it. Stuff like this happens. So these are as you start doing that, you'll see how it starts to work. But in the beginning, you might not see how everything works, but that's why you act on the impulse based on where you are in the present state. Not fear impulse, but generated excitement impulse, and it will lead you. And then there will be a point in the journey, just like there will be a point in the journey when I'm heading to San Diego where I finally make it to a place where it will say San Diego, 200 miles away, letting me know I'm heading in the right direction. But I'm not there, I still got 200 miles. But once I leave my house, I don't see that sign. I might not see that sign for 20 minutes, a half hour. You have to have full trust and faith in this system. If you don't, it simply doesn't work, because if I don't have full trust and faith in my GPS, I simply don't go. Therefore, I don't get to the destination in which I want. But it doesn't mean it's broken. It means I just simply didn't go. So I always suggest starting out with small little things, because it's easier to allow that. And eventually you wake up one day and realize it's all small. There is no big thing. There really isn't. The universe doesn't decipher between me getting to San Diego or to running a multi-million-dollar corporation. That's my definitions or beliefs onto it, either keeping me from it or moving me in the direction. So when you're actually in the present state of awareness, using your guidance system, your actually belief structures that were maybe hindering you actually start to break apart and become nonsensical. Again, you don't need to get rid of them. They'll eventually become nonsensical. So as you fully understand how this works, you can then start exercising it, utilizing it. Again, I talked about processes of meditation. Meditation definitely helps you to stop thinking. When we're overthinking, it's like going in a circle, like a revolving door. When we stop thinking, it's like moving in a linear position in a direction. There's going to be rights and lefts, but you're moving in a different direction. So you can walk 10 miles in a circle, or you can walk 10 miles in a linear fashion, even taking rights and lefts, but you're gaining more experience or more real estate, of however you want to look at it. And that's the topic of talk today, was once we get into the present state, your internal guidance system works supremely, and it will send you impulses, and if you act on them as best you can, don't think about how much you act on it. When you act on it as best you can and stay in the state of the frequency of the image, you will get to where you want to go. And when you get to where you want to go, it just solidifies the fact that it works. So the journey is the process as well as the destination. So, and a lot of people will say it's all about the journey, not the destination. The truth empirically is it's all one complete kit. The journey and the destination are part and parcel. You cannot separate the two. But one will get the movement starting, such as I want to go to San Diego, and then the GPS will tell me. But if I don't put anything in the GPS, guess what it doesn't do? It doesn't spit any information out. So if I don't imagine a place I want to go, my inner guidance system will not give me impulse to move in that direction. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's just you could sit on the beach and do nothing. But if there's some place you want to go, you must offer up your imaginative thought. And the only way you can do that is knowing that you can get there. But you can't know how. If you knew how, it wouldn't be imaginary, and you wouldn't need your inner guidance system. So this is Frank Daly signing off for this. If anyone has any questions about this, you can email us at dalywisdom.com. Well, actually the website. And on the website, there'll be email. You could put your suggestions, questions, or anything on that. So go to dalywisdom.com. My name is Frank Daly. Have a blessed day.